Hey, whether you're newlywed or you consider yourself as an old chain and balls, in a marriage, there's always ups and downs. So today
Yes.
on this video, we're going to talk about some of the tips to help keep your marriage going. So Cece and I, we're going to share that with you, but we're also going to have our my brother-in-law and my sister-in-law, Eve and Claudia, joining us in the podcast to share some of their experience with us. So stay tuned.
Hello, my blissful friends. Welcome back to the Blissology podcast. I am your host, Cece, and I'm joined by my co-host, Hubby. What's up, baby?
Hey, everybody, this is Will, and welcome to our podcast today. This is a weekly podcast where we talk about
Love, life, relationship, and whatever else is
a
going on
lot of
around the
stuff. And
world.
today is like a special day. We're going to talk about a
Yes.
whole lot of stuff, and we'll have some new people on the podcast with
And
us.
we
So,
have a new
new president.
president.
Jeez, that's politics.
Listen, this is, to me, it's like history, okay? We are moving
Anyway,
on
let's
up.
bring in our guest, Eve and
We're
Claudia.
moving on
Welcome
up,
to the
right? We're moving
podcast.
on up.
And
Hey, welcome, guys.
Thanks for having
Yes,
us.
welcome. Thank you for joining us today.
we're glad to have you. You know, it's a new year. It's a lot of new stuff.
Yes.
And I
New
know
president. You know, I gotta say it.
you and the president. How you guys feel about the new
New
president?
vice president,
A
the new
vice
Madam President.
a
Yes.
new African American.
Claudia,
Yes.
you should have worn your Biden hat or mask. You have one of those.
Yeah. I mean, I should have, but he's in my heart.
Is it?
That's right. It's like
Yeah.
So I know you normally do your
my blissful
your
moment.
blissful moments.
Yes.
I guess the blissful moments is that we are together with family.
That, and we have a new president.
the heck?
Hello. And a new vice president. Come on. It was just about time. I'm not into politics. Let me just be honest. I'm not into politics, but today was really
Today history.
something, right?
Guys,
History.
Claudia, I don't know how Eve feels
It's a
about
new
this, but I can
beginning.
tell you I'm gonna be hearing about this
What?
for a while.
Mhm.
This whole new
Yeah.
president thing. You know, for someone who says they're not in politics, they pay a lot of
Uh-huh.
attention to a lot of stuff.
But Lord, it was time.
Yes.
Anyway,
It was
guys.
time.
New
Let me tell you
beginning.
guys what happened. Like earlier, I was watching it off YouTube, right? And then as soon as Biden sworn, and I was like,
Yes. That was your brother.
yes. And my
Yeah.
daughter is like right
See,
next door. and
It
she's
runs
like,
in the
what
family.
happened? Hey, listen, that's what we're brother,
I took the kids' toys and I was banging on the toys and screaming.
Oh man.
yes, you know, it's really right here. Right here.
Yeah.
Well, you can keep him wherever you keep him. Just don't bring him in the house.
Yeah, that was.
I'm
a-
jealous.
He can come over whenever.
Whenever. She can
Wow.
come over whenever.
Exactly.
So this is part 2 of last week's podcast. So if some of you guys saw last week's podcast, so this will be a continuation of last week, but with a little bit more. I know last week was
Yes.
just the two of us talking, but now we have even Claudia on there. So you guys will have a completely different insight
Yes.
on what it takes to keep marriage going, right? And I think you guys are
For
like
sure.
how many months before our marriage? Because we almost like in this for almost about the same.
Right. I think about 3-4 months between.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because
Yeah.
you started in
Yeah.
October,
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
it was in February.
Yes. October.
and yeah, we got 2 kids.
And y'all got 2
Yeah.
kids.
2 kids.
We got 2 girls, I got 2 boys.
Boys, yeah.
So experience could be similar but different, right?
Very different because
Yeah.
boys are different to raising girls, right?
For sure. Absolutely.
Well, we wouldn't know because
No.
neither one of us have the opposite sex.
Listen,
So,
People like to speculate on things they think.
Yeah.
Right.
right. I mean, you wouldn't know how it is to raise girls.
It's different.
You know?
Yes.
Well, I can share with you that the mom takes pride in doing the hair, and sometimes it takes hours. I'm talking about hours
Yeah.
in the screaming.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like I don't know how it gets with the boys when you have to cut the hairs, but I'm assuming it's probably no like
Yeah, see?
no screaming, right, Claudia?
See? Easy and go. Brush and go.
Well, they cry a little bit.
Cry a little.
Yeah. But
Especially
you
with
know,
Isaiah, you know, the naps. He had a big
Right.
nap.
He
yeah. After
naps.
they
Yes.
get used to
You
it,
know,
you
like
know.
the nappy hair, like
Yes.
you cut it. But it's
Uh,
fine a little bit.
Yeah.
But after that, they get used to it.
Yeah.
You know, they understand. You know,
Mhm.
daddy
That's
got to cut the
fine.
hair.
Right. Exactly.
So no matter
Lucky for
what,
you, Eve.
they gotta sit down and
No, and let me
get
tell
it
you,
done.
God know I do us films. I don't do girls hair. I cannot do girls hair.
Yes. Yes.
So
so you
I
mean
gotta have.
if you have a girl, which I know there's been wishes, if you have a girl, you'll make Claudia do the hair.
I know.
We have to
Or
use
send
it.
them over. Just send her over.
Right,
But
exactly.
I think I got some experience in girls because my goddaughter,
Okay, I
she
was gonna
was
say you see
uh
my face too. I'm like,
yeah
you have a
one
kid
day
that we
she
don't know
stayed
about.
with me for the whole day,
Oh,
and I had to do her hair to take her
Wow.
out.
I'd like
Yes,
to
a
see how
little.
that hair came out because I had an experience where I pulled a brush and they just wouldn't take together. I put a little bit of water on the brush and I rubbed it and they're still not staying together. And I'm like, you know what, forget it. We're just going out.
Well, I remember I was getting compliments, so I guess I must have done a good
Oh,
Then
job.
you got
okay. So you
skills.
must have did a good
Yeah,
job, and that's
I must
good.
have
So
done a good
if
job.
I'm ever stranded and I can't get Carol, I'm gonna call you.
Sure, sure. Call me. Call me. I'll do it. I'll take care of it.
Yes, yes.
So guys, I mean, obviously experience is similar in terms of length, but obviously we all different people. So what's I know we talked about communication from our last podcast
Yes.
and we kind of share how that's for us, but from you guys' point of view, where does that sit in terms of the importance?
I mean, communication is the key.
Mhm.
That's the first thing you need to make a relationship work.
Yeah.
So if you don't communicate with somebody who's living with you, I mean, there's no way you're gonna be able to live with that person in the house.
Mhm.
You know, so that's very very important. So
Yeah, I
that's
agree.
what
That's the number one key to successful marriage. Communicate.
Mhm.
Communication all around. And it doesn't mean that, I don't know, there's no need to be yelling and, talking back and forth in a vulgar way, but communicate with your spouse so
Mhm.
that we're on the same road. And at the end of the day, we have the same goals as couples. So, for sure, communication.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
And Claudia, if we can like relate guys men to men, sometimes they expect us to figure stuff out.
I think after a few years, they'll use short.
Yes. Yes. I think after right. After a
Uh,
few years, you need to get it.
I mean, you guys know every day we're still learning something new about y'all. So
Like
I
what?
know.
I
What
don't
we
know how
still
we're
be
supposed
learning?
to figure it. So I don't
And
know.
let me tell you,
Yes.
at night, I'm going to bed. I need my cup of water. I don't have to ask for it. You should bring it over.
Right,
What
but
if one day he doesn't bring
yesterday,
it?
right,
Go get it. Communicate with him to go get it.
right,
Mhm.
right.
Yes.
But after certain years, you should definitely know what your spouse, without even having her to say anything, you should know it automatically.
Yeah, certain stuff. But
Right?
you guys always have something new.
Right.
So
No. No.
There's always something
no,
new. It is always something new.
I think
But
so
I
too.
guess that's what makes it interesting. That's what makes it, yeah, it gives it that edge. I know me, it's like
Right.
ordering food. I can never like make the very perfect choice because I'll have to consult first. Otherwise, I will find myself buying something that I'm probably gonna end up having to eat.
Well, like they say, you got to consult with the wife first, right?
Right. I
Mhm.
mean,
Yeah.
you're the head
Consult.
of the house. We can make up the house. So
Right.
you have to ask us. Yes.
Well,
Yes.
that's the other way around for you. I always know what you want, but you
Oh,
never
see?
know what I like
Oh,
Oh,
when you
Eve,
comes to order the
I'm gonna
food.
relate on you
wow.
on this. It runs in the
Mhm.
family where you gotta figure them out.
True. True. We're really hard to figure out for real. It runs in the
Because you guys
family.
are on a diet, on a regular. Like one day you want to do this, and you want to eat this. The next day you know I'm on a diet, no carbs, no rice. It's like make up your
Mm,
mind.
Yes.
no, no, no. Like if you go to Publix, I tell you, I like my sub with mayonnaise and spicy mustard. You're gonna call me and ask me, what do you want on your sub again?
No,
Exactly. That's
she's just
exactly what, you know what? That's exactly, sometime when you go to the store, I'll tell you, write it down because exactly how I want it. So that when next time when you're at the store, I don't have to tell
Eve.
you
Eve,
again.
this is what I do. I have her send me a text. This way, I pull my phone out and look exactly what's on. If it's not on the text, she doesn't get it.
But you need to save those text messages somewhere.
No,
Yes.
no, you just send me a new one.
Listen.
But aside from these things, I mean, obviously, you guys mentioned communication is important. So you talked about a lot of other stuff, which I'm sure that goes beyond food ordering. I mean, those are tiny stuff, but we're talking about the future of the family and what we want to do, what we want to achieve, major purchases. I know I mentioned a comment last week that it's easier to ask for forgiveness than it is to ask for permission. It's
No.
crazy, so no one should listen to that.
Yes.
But a lot of these
Why
things.
would you even say that to begin with? You know, like what were you
Listen,
thinking?
there are things that, yeah, say for instance, if I see something that's not crazy and it's like $50 and I buy it, I can ask for.
Right? No, I don't know about that.
But
about that.
and I did make a disclaimer. No one should listen to what I said about asking for forgiveness than permission. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
But besides the things that we talked about last week, any other advice that you guys would want to share with the audience, like, you know, in terms of to a better marriage, especially it's the new year, right? Things that we should do different.
We're better already. We got a new president.
Whoop whoop. Fight the power.
Well, I would say compromising. That's another big one too in a relationship, in a marriage. We have to learn how to compromise. So
Yeah,
you know,
that's true.
that's a big one to me.
You can't always have your way all the time.
Mm-mm. Did you hear that, Will?
Definitely
Did you hear that?
I never try to get
Right.
my way all the time. Oh yeah, I was saying that's one thing that I know we didn't touch on the importance of compromising, give in a little, but yeah, I think that's important.
That's very important. Yes.
Yeah.
Are you willing to stop the spending to grow the marriage? Are you willing to do certain things for us to really get better? Right? Because sometimes people are
Yeah.
not willing to give up what they want. They're not willing to let go of the things that they enjoy, whether if it's like go spending or go to the mall shopping every weekend. But all this is important, like for you to really
Yeah.
see something, you know, to grow, to have a better marriage with your spouse.
Yeah.
So compromise is definitely.
Compromising and communication definitely falls in the same category. Only because you have to communicate with your partner to see what exactly you guys want to do, what you're going like together as a unit. You know, and next year I'm not safe for a new car. You gotta learn how to compromise to give up some things to get to that goal. Does that make sense?
Right. I mean, the thing about compromising too. First thing we got to remember that we both grew up in a different household.
Right.
We don't have the same, type of living. We were
Mhm.
different. So
Mhm.
there's things that you do that I don't do. You know,
Mhm.
when it becomes a problem in the relationship. So
Communicate that.
we have to be able to compromise. You
Right.
know, okay, maybe I should stop doing that just for the sake of my wife, or vice versa. So
Mhm.
that's why I say it's very important to compromise in your relationship,
Yeah,
in the marriage.
that is
Mhm.
so true.
Yeah.
That's so true. Gotta
All
give up
right.
things, right?
I
Yes.
don't want to give up my sleeping at the dining room table.
Which, by the way, he was doing
Yeah.
that yesterday.
No, I wasn't.
No, you were.
Jeez, don't be putting my business
I'm
out
just
like that.
saying.
It was a long day.
Communication. Wait after we're done eating, and then you can go ahead and do that on the couch or
Yeah.
something. So,
No,
you
just,
know.
just kidding. But yes, and
Yes.
Claudia, you're right. I like the fact that you mentioned that we all from different backgrounds, especially
Mhm.
men and women. We think differently. We think differently. There are things that are important to her. It's not important to me. But when you're in a relationship, sometimes you have to make things important to you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
you gotta find You got to find a way
Should-
to balance it, you know? You got to find a way to
Yeah.
make it work for, and that's when it comes to love. Like, this is how much you really love that person that you're with. You're willing to sacrifice in what, you know, the fact that you just said, Claudia, they're not from the same environment. And so now you're willing to sacrifice what you came from or what you know in order for you to join in with that person, to compromise, to get into their, you know, what they're used to,
But it
basically.
needs to be a two-way thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Shouldn't be
absolutely.
all of us compromising, right?
Yeah,
Ladies have to give in a little too.
Well,
Yeah.
listen.
Definitely do.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yes.
yes, we definitely
Sometimes more
do.
than you guys.
You
But
think
we
so?
do it out of love, like you said. It's because we love our partner and
Yeah,
we don't mind.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, so that's major. That's definitely major. Any other ones that you guys want to share with us? Maybe, you know, share somebody out
Or maybe
there.
from the from last week's podcast, anything that like pops out, that's like, man, this is the thing.
Let me tell you guys, when you guys are talking about the love language, know your partner's love language. That was a good one.
Hmm.
Because at times it's like I think Will
You did the
I
test?
think I didn't do the test, no.
Okay.
I'm going to though. But I
Okay.
think Will mentioned that he doesn't like to hold hands, which is the same way as your brother, by the way. He doesn't like to show affection in public.
Haitian men,
But
I know that.
Hey,
Well, we weren't brought up that way.
right.
You know, we weren't brought up in the American environment where you can see two Americans kissing in the middle of the street. You probably would never see that
Back
in,
home, yes.
in Haiti. So it's a little bit different for us, especially if we're dating somebody from a different what race. You know,
Yes,
we're
yes.
not gonna be comfortable kissing you, you know, out in the open. So
You're right.
that doesn't mean we're not affectionate. That doesn't
Yes.
mean, you know, we're not lovable. So
Yeah, and that's when you're gonna have to compromise, you know.
Claudia, you know, as you were saying this, imagine you at the church, and then you started kissing your wife right there in
Right.
public.
yeah,
Right.
Oh my goodness.
I know. So yeah,
I can see Carol on stage right now.
That'd be a scene. People
True.
would get around you trying to find out what's wrong with them.
Right. But it's important to know that about your man, your
Yes.
spouse, your girlfriend, because sometimes people tend to take that as the wrong message. It's not because they don't care, they don't love you, it's because they didn't brought up that way.
right.
Mhm.
So you have to learn what does it for your husband or your wife or your spouse, girlfriend, whatever it is. You have to learn the love language.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. I remember when I went to your house for the first time and I sat outside the house. And I was like, I didn't go in the house. I didn't say hello to your parents, nothing like that. Remember?
Mhm.
The next time I came over, they were like, no,
Right.
when you come to see my house, how you come in? That's just how we were brought up. So it's a culture thing. It's just how it is.
Right.
You have to learn that about your spouse because it's
Yeah.
not their fault.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
But they're still a good person.
Yeah.
And there's still something there for you to love.
Absolutely.
No, you're gonna find it very interesting when you take the test. It's like less than 10 minutes, and you take yours and he take his, and then you compare them. It's like you're gonna see the difference between the two of you. And then that's how you can learn from him and he can learn from you. Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know he doesn't like that, or vice versa. So
Yeah.
it was really cool.
Yeah.
Did you guys recently took it or you guys had to
We took it.
Yeah, we took it.
We took it. Now I don't a while back.
Mhm.
I don't remember all the things, but it's a good way to kind of like, because there are things that I used to do, not even realizing that that's something I was doing. But as when I took the result of this, I'm like, yeah, this is kind of me. This is me. Then I realized that, it's not that I'm weird. I'm just different.
And weird. And weird sometimes.
Well, but knowing that, it makes me feel comfortable being how I am, and at least
Right.
my partner sees, you know what? Yeah, that's kind of how he is.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have to give him a hard time over it.
Right. Communicate the result to each other.
Right.
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 Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's
No.
come back to communication.
Yes, no, it's really good. It's really good. You guys should take it. And I think,
Yeah.
that also gonna lead into romance. Like when you get to know that part of love language test, you get to know what really tickles your husband's ears
Nothing tickles
or
nothing tickles my ears. You
or
can
if
take
he, if
plim
he
pool and
has a
running.
soft spot, you can take like plim pool and stuff, because yes, all that is important to know. Do you have a soft
Yes.
spot, babe?
I do. The back of my head. If you go there and you start rubbing it,
Now, do you have a soft spot, bro?
No, I don't.
Eve will tell you
No.
that.
And here we go. He
You
does
haven't
not.
found it yet. We all do. We all do.
Maybe
And you know
not
what?
maybe not flame too, but
Oh, that's for everybody.
That's everybody.
That's
You
for
start
everybody.
doing this to like,
oh, the eyes start doing that.
you're in a different
Yeah.
world.
But
That's
yeah,
true.
but
For
yeah, that
everybody.
kind of lead into the intimacy part of it because that's one thing.
Mhm.
Also, like Claudia, we're not brought up where we. I mean, I can't tell you that I've ever had a conversation with my parents around how do I do this in terms of getting close to a girl.
Hmm.
I would have been a conversation I have with my dad, but
Right.
never did. So a lot of things I kind of learned
On your own.
on my own. Believe
Right.
me, when you learn on your own, you don't get the best lessons sometimes.
Right.
Right, that's
So,
true.
but yeah. So, what's your guys' view on intimacy?
Well,
Brother.
let me tell you, I do think that's one of the key things to keep your relationship going.
Mhm.
Because at the end of the day, it's our time, it's us time. It's where we get very intimate and we just it's just a it's just good. I can't even say anything else, but it's very important.
Yes.
You want to say something, Rich?
I'll have what she's having.
You have what she's having.
But it's very important. Not only that, because like you said, well, they would never heard our parents say have to talk with us. We have to learn it from school. I learned it from my school. My home ec teacher was talking about sex education day or something like that. So my parents, my dad would sit down and say, hey, this is what happened if this, if you meet a girl, if you meet a boy, this and that, this and that. We have to learn with ourselves. And sometimes when you play with fire, you get burned. So you
Mhm.
have to be careful not to
Right.
get burned. So, but as in the marriage, it's definitely you have to spice it up. You
Mhm.
have to don't let yourself go. As women, like we tend to get comfortable, and we
Right.
tend to be like, oh, he's gonna be okay. I don't have to show any intimacy with him. But if I don't do it, someone else is willing to do it for him.
Mhm.
So that's how I take it. And I make sure
Yes.
I do my job. And tired or not, headache or not,
Yeah.
yes,
Right.
sir.
Mhm.
Because at the end of the day, like I said, if I don't do it, somebody else gonna do it for me. We're not having
Right.
that.
Right.
What's your baby?
That's it. I'll have what you're having.
But I do wish our parents were able to talk to us about that
Mhm.
though.
You
Because
know,
it's very important.
Yes, it is.
there's a funny thing. If I knew what I know now, when my parents asked me, when are you gonna have kids? Or said, how do I have kids?
Because kids nowadays, they'll ask you.
But that would have been a good
Yes.
question to kind of like open the
Yeah.
conversation. Okay, you asked me to have kids, but you never told me how to have kids.
Yeah,
So
but I think so.
let's sit and talk about how do we make kids?
Yes, but you got to
Right.
be ready though to have that
That
conversation.
conversation.
Yes, because
Right.
you can't say, like the old way. You got to be able to say it in a way for them to understand it at their
But
level.
but you know what? Our parents did what they could with what they had, because I don't think they've had that conversation with their parents either.
No, I don't
Mhm.
believe so.
And
I just know my grandma had a lot of kids. Right, bro?
I think many of our grandmas had a lot of kids. They kind
My
of went with
grandma's
it.
like, I'm done with you, so I'm gonna go next door to my.
Yes, but
Yeah, yeah. 3 or 4.
3 or 4. Yes. Yes.
hey,
Baby
listen,
daddy.
Mhm.
that
So
was the
my mom
pastime back
calls.
then. We didn't have TVs and all that stuff to give us, the entertainment we wanted. So we kind of use what we had.
Yeah.
But not like, from one to another to another to another,
Why not? You do what you can with what you have. But
Exactly.
as much that sometimes I feel not as fortunate to have had this conversation, but I try not to hold it on them because
Mhm.
Right,
people do what they can with what they
Right.
have.
right.
But we're fortunate enough to have learned at least a good chunk of the good stuff. So so we can bring ourselves up in a
Right.
reasonable way, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but it's on us to make sure that we don't let the next generation go without
Amen.
that education because
Mhm.
it's
That is
important.
true. It's very important.
It's absolutely
Because when they're
important.
learning from their friends, the schoolmates, it's a whole different kind of learn that like teaching. It's
Yes.
very good for the parents.
Yeah, and I know one thing I do tell the girls, like whatever it is, just tell me, whether if it's something that I'm going to be, upset at, but I still want you to tell me, don't just lie, don't lie to me, but be honest with me. Whatever it is that you may have going on, or whatever it is, you want them to tell you everything. I
Right.
don't know about, I'm sure the boys may feel more comfortable talking to their dad versus their mom, right?
No, I know what to
Really?
talk to them. Yeah.
But
Like
yeah,
yeah, we gotta teach them that we have their best interest in mind.
yes,
So sometimes
yes,
it could be something small or big. Just have that
right.
conversation with them. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good to, have that talk with them. So, but how much do you guys really appreciate each other? Like, I know that's
Oh
one thing that,
We talked about.
we talked about. Do you appreciate, do you celebrate the small, the goods, the bad moments, the good moments? Whenever you guys are going to some ups and downs, do you guys appreciate each other?
Well, she knows I appreciate her when she's not feeling well, and I'm on the stove making that soup. You know, if she knows I appreciate her when she can get her foot up. I pick up her foot and start rubbing her foot.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
true. That's
so
true.
that's how you show your appreciation towards
Right.
your
Right.
loved one. So yeah, I mean, it's another important key in a relationship, in a
Absolutely.
marriage.
Hmm.
You have to show that you appreciate your partner. You
Right.
know, your partner is not when your partner gets sick for you to be getting up and going out with your boys.
Hmm.
Your marriage will never work that way, or
Right.
vice versa for the woman too. It never work that way. So you have to show that you appreciate the person when they're having, a downtime. You know,
Hmm.
you there to listen. So
Hmm.
I mean, she knows that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I do think action speaks louder than words. It's one thing for you to tell me, I appreciate you, babe. For you to tell him, I appreciate him all the time. But for me to show it to him, it's a whole different language. And yeah, it's just the small wins, the big wins, the small downs, the bigger downs, whatever it
Hmm.
might be. If you guys come out of it,
Right.
however
Hmm.
it is, you just have to be like, you know what, babe, this was a lot. This was hard. I
Right.
appreciate you sticking with me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because sometimes
Yes.
they get when the hard time comes, they just like, you know what, I give up. I can't do this no more.
Hmm.
So for you to have somebody that stick with you through the up and down, you have to show their appreciation.
Right.
And it could be by saying it or just by
Hmm.
showing it.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah. The actions are so important because we could sit here and say and say and say, but if there's no action behind it, then what's the point?
Hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, Eve, have you made Claudia wash dishes?
I know after I cook, I don't wash dishes. My husband washes dishes after we cook. And he's been like this for how long now? 12 years.
For like
For
10
as,
years.
for as long as I can remember.
It's
Eh,
something that, but it's like a tradition though. Like he knows it. I tell him my feet photos. He know how Haitian food takes whatever.
Right.
And now I'm not gonna stand up here and wash the dishes. So
Yes.
he's been, yeah,
Yes.
Mm.
he's been on that, the show.
Yeah, I mean, this is the this is some of the stuff the viewers watching the show, they can learn from us who've been together for a while. This is
Mm-hmm.
some of the stuff that when you do for your spouse.
Right.
Again, you show her or you show him that you appreciate that person.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
when my wife
Absolutely.
cooks, I wash the dishes.
Yes.
I can't say, oh, I'm a man, I'm not gonna
You're
do
gonna
it.
jump in the couch and go watch TV while she's
Right.
back there
Right.
cleaning.
So
Yeah.
Right. Right.
yeah, I mean that's if you choose to do that, I guarantee you your marriage probably not gonna last.
It
As long as you would want it to last.
Yes.
it's good to
Yes.
imagine what the wife is saying while she's washing the dishes and you're sitting there. You may not hear it, but something's coming. I can't believe
Yes.
Yeah.
I did all that cooking.
Yes.
And that bastard just
Uh,
went in. But yes,
and just bang the stuff, loud.
well, yes. but believe it or not, some people actually. I mean, obviously, Claudia, we can relate on this. I've
Yeah.
these pans.
Yes.
Carol would take like 5 minutes to clean it. I'm so good at it. I take 2 minutes. I mean, I just go at it.
Yeah, like last night.
Yes.
Yesterday I cooked and
This is
wash the
where
dishes.
you're a
living
pro
together.
now.
right. You're pro.
Living together is a shared responsibility,
Mhm.
and I think the more couples learns that, the easier they get. Because when you do this thing, you don't do them because you're less of a man. You do it because you're a man who knows that how to
The
support your
importance.
spouse.
Right. Right.
And I know many of us, the environment that we're brought up, there's certain things that said men don't do that stuff. Men don't clean dishes. Men don't mop houses. Men don't do things that should be women's stuff. And
Speaking of men don't mop houses, my grandma would never let my brother mop the floor. My grandmother would have a fit.
Oh,
Okay.
hopefully she's not turning in her grave
Yes.
right now.
Well, let's hope not, Eve. Like I remember back home, my mom would tell him to mop the floor. If she's there, she'll get the mop from my mom and mop the floor herself. Because she doesn't believe that men should mop the floor. So yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
Listen,
I know.
she was brought up in an age where that was it, but
Right?
things are different. But yeah,
Right.
because it's more than ever, it's a shared responsibility, and we all have to play a part. I mean, if
Absolutely.
it's time to get the kids ready, whoever can do it at the time, just get it done. Just don't ask me to calm the girls there because you're gonna have to do it again. But yeah,
I was reading somewhere. It says, "Your marriage for love, however, it's a business. It's a business. It's your partner. It's a business partner.
yeah,
When one is lacking, the other one has to be able to pick that up.
Mhm.
And if I come home after a long day of work and the house is mopping, I guarantee you, if I come home, my husband already has the floor mop because it's just like he knows that I'm gonna be tired and he knows that I worked hard today. He
Right.
appreciates me working hard, so he's gonna
Mhm.
go ahead and help out. There's
Mhm.
nothing wrong about because he's a man or that's not.
Yes. Mhm.
2021.
Exactly. Exactly. Yes.
It's 2021.
Exactly. Yes. There's no such thing as I do the dishes, you put the trash out. I do believe in marriage. It's all hands on.
Right.
We just like work together to make it work. You know,
she just doesn't watch the cars.
why do
Oh
I
yeah,
need to
no.
do that?
I won't do that. I will never.
She doesn't
No.
take the
She-
trash out.
Carol can't stand ironing.
Well,
This is one thing
no,
that
I don't. I did sign the contract that I would never iron. Okay.
but I know that. See me, I had no fun. I'd iron it. And given that I know that I will never
I
put her in a
hate
position
it.
to say, I need you to iron this. 'Cause I know she can't stand it, and it's just
Right.
not something that
Right.
Right.
does.
I just don't like it. I don't. I don't. That's why there's dry cleaners. Okay. I don't
Yeah.
like do the dishes and mop the floor, but let's not do the ironing because I don't want it.
And-
Yes. And that's when it all comes to where it's not like, it's your responsibility. You're supposed to iron all the shirts, all the clothes versus why don't we just find a way to make it work?
Yeah, and understanding is important. Is understand what works for each other.
Right.
because it'll be very unfair if I know you don't do this, or there's something that maybe it's not your strong point to impose it on you.
I just don't like
Right.
it.
And the same thing, you know, certain things that maybe I actually have. I don't think there's anything that I don't do. I haven't found it yet. I'm sure there's something out there. But
Mhm.
the same way, and that goes for you guys also. There may be things that it'll be unfair to impose that on you, knowing that that's something that may not be
That's one of
something
your
you want to do.
weaknesses.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's when the partnership
absolutely.
comes in.
Yes. It's so
Yeah.
important, you know? It's so important to just have fun. And yes, so I think I'm gonna just, end it at do things together, which was the last key point on our podcast last week.
Yeah.
Do things together and have fun. I don't know how much things you guys do together, but here we do, so we have fun. Okay. Whether if I'm
Right.
upset, if I'm like happy, we just make sure that we incorporate the kids, the family, and do things together and have fun.
Yeah.
How do you guys
Right.
keep it like, with the family?
I mean, we have family days on Sundays where we have electronics. It's just us. We go
Mm-hmm.
for walks. We play.
Yeah,
There's
pizza night.
outside pizza night. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Kids night.
We definitely believe in family togetherness and
Yes.
also us time.
Right.
Like when the kids go to bed, I know that he's ready for me on the couch. Just hang out with him, just watch a movie, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe fall asleep while he's watching the movie. But we're together, you know.
Right.
I don't fall
Right.
asleep.
But no, yeah, it's very important. You want to say something there?
No, man, yeah, we do a lot of stuff together. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you got to keep everybody entertained. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what family is about. Keep
Right.
everybody
Yes.
entertained, keep everybody happy. You
Yes.
know,
And not
you
only
don't
that,
go out and play domino and leave your wife at home.
right?
Right.
Either you
Right.
take her to go play domino with you,
Even she don't
or
like
you
it.
bring the domino to the house and play
Yes.
with her.
Football. Oh, watch football. I'm like,
You
what's
know,
going on?
so
I don't know.
Right. Right. I know he's a big fan of
Right,
I know you love
football.
watching football. Yeah.
yeah,
But
So
my main thing is, when we do things together, the boys are seeing this, so they're learning from us doing our thing together. So
mm-hmm.
that way, when it's their time, as
Yeah.
grown up, they get to say the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we definitely have to have together time.
Yes,
hmm
absolutely.
So
yeah.
guys, I appreciate you taking the time to share that with us. Thank you.
Yes. Yes. This was
You're welcome.
fun.
This was
No problem,
fun.
no problem, guys.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, sharing life experience is always fun, because that life is a collection of experience, and we all learn from each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm hoping you guys watching that this at least give you some insight on some of the things that we do. Obviously, I think we in this thing for 11 years for you guys. Is it quite 11 yet? Because yeah,
No, this is 11.
11. So we're
Mm-hmm.
This is
coming
my
to
12th
11. Yeah,
year.
we're coming to 11
Next
also.
month. Yeah.
So I know there's people who may have been married a lot longer than we have, and
Like my
leave us some
parents.
comments if you have. I mean, we'd like to hear.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'd
Absolutely.
love to hear, what your experience have been. But Claudia and Eve, we appreciate you guys sharing with us.
Yes. Thank
And
you.
we got to do this a whole lot more on different topics. I know you guys got a lot that you're doing and that you can share with our audience.
Sure,
Yes.
sure.
So thank you for
Yes.
taking the time. And for those of you who's watching us, if this is your first time, please take a moment to subscribe. We are
Mhm.
looking to get even more contents to you guys this year, 2021.
Yes.
So, and you can check us out on this platform. Where again? YouTube, where you're
Facebook.
watching us right now. Facebook,
Yes.
SoundCloud,
Yes.
iTunes, TuneIn. Jeez, I'm forgetting stuff. So,
We're getting old.
Thing happens, you got great beards, you forget stuff.
Yes.
So we thank everyone for joining us, and a special thank
Thank
you
you
to
to the
Claudia and Eve for
Philistines.
joining us.
Yes. Yes. Thank
Thank
you.
you for having us again.
Thanks for having us.
Yes.
All right, guys. Well, on that note,
We'll see you next
we gotta
time.
do that dance.
Bye.
Peace.